No one had expected what the world saw when the lights went down and the cameras started rolling. Renowned rapper Jim Jones, who is known for his flashy style and unshakable self-assurance, broke down live on television. This Jim Jones was different from the one we were all used to. Tonight, a whole other side of the slick, confident performer who always seemed unbeatable on stage was shown. He began to cry as the camera panned in and his face went white. He started crying. A shocked silence descended upon the studio as he murmured, "I'm struggling," in a broken voice that was barely audible. People could feel the tension through the TV. Fans were shocked to learn the truth, and what followed took them all by surprise. Chrissy Lampkin, a longtime friend of his, gave an unexpected response. Will their romance cease at this point? Cameras were recording every moment. There is a division within the family. The admirers are stunned. Additionally, everyone is asking the same question. What was the reason behind Jim Jones's mental collapse? What will become of the once unstoppable power couple? Undoubtedly, the drama is just getting started. As it all unfolded, the tension in the room became almost unbearable. Jim Jones sat in the center of the stage tonight, normally composed, but he was visibly shaken. What had previously been his domineering manner was now tinted with vulnerability. The way they captured him tonight felt very different, despite the fact that the cameras were rolling. He no longer wore his trademark sneer-like armor. The confident haughtiness had vanished. Jim, instead, stood tight. His expression was vaguely emotional, and his demeanor was uneasy. One by one, this individual was crumbling before our own eyes. It was clear that Jim had not been the dedicated individual we had seen rise through the ranks of the profession. Anticipated the interview's course of action. Beneath the flickering studio lights, Jim shifted in his chair, rubbing his hands nervously together as the show's host, a prominent personality in the entertainment business, attempted to gently ease him into the conversation. It was a time of anticipation. The audience held its breath while he gazed silently straight ahead. The suspense had been almost unbearable until he spoke at last. His voice was hardly audible above a whisper, and I didn't want to listen. Please admit that I'm struggling. The air hung with the words, exposed and sharp. His jaw tightened as if he were pulling himself together physically, and his face contorted with passion. It seemed to have shocked and staggered him, the weight of what he had just said. This man has always taken the obstacles of life head-on, both in his music and in his personal path. There was nothing like the way he was revealing himself now. The Jim Jones studio erupted in a collective gasp. Due to his iron will and no-nonsense manner, as well as the fact that he openly admitted that he was dealing with a very personal issue that was powerful enough to shake him firmly. However, was he dealing with the relentless scrutiny of the public eye or the crushing pressures of celebrity? Or was there something more painful and deeply emotional at the core? Next to him, Chrissy Lynn shifted uncomfortably. Her eyes remained fixed on Jim, but she clearly didn't know what to expect. If she had realized what he had been fighting with all along, their usual playful dynamic would not have existed. She anticipated this kind of outburst from him. The tension between them was obvious. Their connection felt weird and fragile tonight, weighed down by potentially explosive, unsaid realities. As Jim spoke more openly, his hands quivered in his lap. He claimed, "People think I've got it all figured out, that I've been through a lot. I am doing great. I might seem to have the whole world in my grasp." Jim continued slowly, the weight of his words hanging heavy, but the truth is that it has been harder than anyone could have ever guessed. There was a deliberate rhythm to each sentence, as though it took work to convey, "I'm not okay. It's been a while since I was all right." The host, who saw the gravity of the issue, leaned in to carefully guide Jim through this emotional terrain. "What's been going on? James, you have been a powerful role model all along. Why at this moment?" The host inquired softly so that the truth would come out on its own, free from pressure. With a fast sigh, Jim's chest rose and fell, as the weight of all he had hoarded inside threatened to overwhelm him. He surveyed the room, searching for the right words. Watching the intensity of emotion was nearly impossible. "I've been battling my own demons," he remarked, his voice bursting with candor. "I've been pretending like everything's fine, but it's not. I've been struggling with anxiety and depression, and I kept telling myself that it's just part of the hustle, part of the game." The previously silent Chrissy shifted in her chair and looked directly at Jim. Her mouth opened a little as if she wanted to say something, but she hesitated. It caught her anxious face on camera. Disbelief and compassion. Wordlessly, she placed a soft palm on his arm. In spite of her surprise, she made a silent yet impactful gesture that demonstrated her support for him. Her reaction to Jim's great sensitivity was clear, even though their relationship had previously seemed solid. Immediately, in an effort to maintain her composure, she wiped away the tears that gathered in her eyes. Though she had always been the grounded, reasonable one, Chrissy was speechless at the time. When Jim explained how his voice was shaking, he remarked he has experienced mental health problems in every area of his life. Before moving back to the camera, he paused to look into Chrissy's eyes. "But it's not just me," he remarked. "Everyone in my vicinity senses it. It follows me like a shadow everywhere." Even though Chrissy has been there for it all, she has also been caught in the crossfire. Chrissy looked at Jim with concern on her face and gave him a gentle nod. A single tear escaped her face. She was clearly torn between standing by the man she loved or facing the consequences of what he had just shared. It was as if time had stopped. With the audience sitting in stunned quiet, the studio was a hive of emotion. It became clear as the conversation went on that Jim's problems went far beyond his mental health. His job's responsibilities, the industry's never-ending grind, and the pressure of his followers' expectations left him feeling confused and alone. He had gradually become disoriented as a result of the stress. The words "I thought I could handle it all" came out of his nearly whisper-like voice. "But there's a lot. Sometimes it can be over the top. Furthermore, I wasn't sure to whom I could truly turn until today." Her face spoke for itself when the cameras briefly panned to Chrissy. The anguish of seeing a loved one in such pain, along with disbelief and sadness. She knew about his struggles, but seeing him spill the beans live on television made the truth seem even more serious. How will this impact their relationship? Was it the end they both feared but never acknowledged? Together, may they be able to weather the storm. Understanding the emotional strain in the room, the host gently tried to diffuse the tension by encouraging everyone to put their mental health first and seek therapy, calling it a courageous and wise decision. "I've tried to keep it all together, acting like everything was fine, but it's not, and I can't keep pretending anymore," Jim said quietly. His gaze dropped, and he fell silent, absorbed in thought. As the camera stayed on Chrissy, her hand was still on Jim's arm, and her eyes were filled with love, concern, and uncertainty. Jim and everyone else had to face the fact that he had let out long-suppressed feelings, and now there was no turning back.